Yeah, that's already. Mm.
Hello, today I'm going to try to make the best ever vegan brownies. I've got two incredible recipes that I'm going to pit head to head. The first one is from Pick Up Limes, and their opponent today is a set of Irish twins called the Happy Pear, who made 147 different varieties to arrive at their recipe. But the only opinion that matters is my vegan wife. So let's start by making a flax egg. So this first recipe is from Pick Up Limes, and it starts with some flax seeds, some freshly brewed espresso, which I made in my mocha pot, which, to be fair, is the greatest way of making coffee outside of a professional coffee machine. Pour in some cold water and give that a little stir. Then add in your mixed sugars. And because I respect your time, I've got some white granulated sugar and some brown sugar conveniently placed in the same container. And then you add in some vanilla extract as well. Stir that all together and set it aside while we melt our chocolate. So we're going to be using the double boiler method here, and if I could go back in time, I would definitely use a bigger bowl. This one is absolutely tiny, but I digress. We're going to throw in some dark chocolate and some vegan butter, and then just stir it and melt it all together until it's smooth. And I absolutely walloped the camera out of it there. But yeah, as I was saying, I would definitely use a bigger bowl, and and now the lens is steaming up, and this is going quickly off the rails. I'll just wipe the camera real quick. Hold on. Well, that did absolutely nothing. Bear with me. Hold on, I'll just move it. Hold on, we're there. So basically, yeah, you just melt it and just do your best not to do what I did, and you'll be good. Even the spoon looks gross. Anyway, look, once that's all melted and smooth, it's time to add it to your flax and sugar mixture. Now, it's subtle, but you might notice that I'm wearing this Michael Jackson looking glove, and that's because the bowl was actually melting hot, and this was the best I could do. Again, if I had a bigger bowl, I would have used it, but you know. Stir that all together, and now it's time to sieve in our dry ingredients. We're going to go in with some flour, some Dutch processed cocoa powder, and hold on, let me just interrupt for a second. Let's really quickly talk about Dutch processed cocoa powder, or as I like to call it, Kakao Zum Backen. I don't live in Germany, but I do live in Central Europe. I've lived in Ireland, I've lived in the UK, and not once have I ever seen anything called Dutch processed cocoa powder. However, it's actually really readily available. You just need to look on the ingredients list. If it says acidity regulator in there, it means it's Dutch processed. So with that knowledge, let's move on and keep baking. So Dutch processed cocoa powder, some baking powder, and a little bit of salt as well. And then you just sieve that all in. And when you fold this, be careful not to overmix it. You don't want to work this too hard. Just take it easy, you know, barely stir it. And now we're going to chuck in some carelessly chopped chocolate chunks. Cool. That just goes into a lined baking dish and you're good to go. Also, don't worry, I saw it too. It's actually delicious. So yeah, these go in the oven. Oh wait, hold on, wait, we're not done yet. We're not good to go. We need to add more chocolate on top and then it goes in the oven, excuse me. So after 30 to 33 minutes on the middle shelf, they look absolutely fantastic. But how are the Happy Pear going to respond? So these guys do things a little differently. They start by heating up butter in a pan until it's fully melted, and then they add in some cold water. They also use two different types of sugar, but with more sugar in general and a much higher ratio of brown sugar. Then they whisk and stir that all together until all the sugar is melted, which takes a few minutes. And now it's time to assemble the dry ingredients. We'll use some flour, some cocoa powder, some corn flour, which will act as the binder this time, some baking powder and some salt. And then rather than using a sieve, they just use a whisk to air it all out, which I think is pretty smart. So you make a well in the center of this dry mixture and then pour in your melted butter and sugar. Gently fold that in so as not to develop the gluten too much. And now it's time to prepare the chocolate chips that will go into this batter. They coat the chocolate chips with flour to help them suspend in the mixture so they don't all sink to the bottom. Add in all of that and then fold it all together. This also goes into a lined dish and then bakes on the bottom shelf of the oven. And let me just explain something to you real quick. I want to give you a quick tour of my oven at the moment, and it is absolutely microscopic. So Pick Up Limes asked for me to bake their brownies on the middle shelf. The Happy Pear are going to go in on the bottom shelf as per their request. As you can see, the difference between the bottom shelf and the middle shelf is approximately one brownie in height. So I'm not quite sure how much difference that's going to make, but I'm still going to do it. Also, please excuse the crumbs. So even with the crappy oven, the 30 minutes in there has made them turn out absolutely beautiful looking. But what does my good lady wife think about these?
The first ones that I'm gonna try are the ones from Pickup Limes. So those ones. I can see the kind of like big chocolate chips in it as well. Not really chips, but like chocolate chunks. So they look great. Yeah. Hmm. Very chocolatey. like very dense, like really nice and fudgy. Um, a lot of like chocolate chunks in it as well. Yeah, they're amazing. Like very good. Um, oh, you also said that like we try them with salt. Well, I'm gonna do that now. I don't know how much salt. Mm. Yeah, I like them even better like that. It's really good. Like if you're into kind of salty sweet stuff. Yeah, works really well. I can definitely taste the vanilla in those brownies. I can say that I taste coffee, but I don't. It's probably actually a good thing. That it's not like a big taste in them. But it definitely gives the brownies like some sort of like depth. They're very filling, like in a really good way. But it's not something that like I would like have like all three of them. The thing is, I probably would, but I think people wouldn't. They're actually yum yum. You should have more. You should have this, please. Yeah, so I've almost finished 2 brownies from, Pick Up Limes, and now I'm gonna try the Happy Pear brownies because I have loads of space left. I can't see any chocolate, like, chips yet, but I kind of assumed they would be there. Um, they have more of, like, a light-colored crust, I guess. Um, they look very gooey as well. They look very exciting. So I'm gonna give it a go. Mm. They're somehow even more gooier than this. I don't know how. Yeah, but they're very good. They're definitely sweeter. I think I prefer them. They're very good, but they're very sweet, like in a sugar way, like sugar sweet, and they're like chocolate sweet. But the texture of those is like gooier, so I think the texture is nicer. It's almost like when you bite into them, it's like almost like a lava cake, but like cold. And I haven't gotten like a chocolate chip yet. They're definitely winners though. They're amazing, like, and they're good. Like those are way too sweet for me. They're very sweet, but they're like the way chocolate is sweet, where it's like I think like my perfect brownie would be definitely like a variation of them, like a little bit less sweet. I did really like the vanilla. I also think that probably coffee gave it some sort of depth. Um, but like if you can add stuff, I do like peanut butter brownies. Like not even like fully peanut butter, but just like some peanut butter. You know what I mean? Like streaks of peanut butter. And I like the salt, so I think like served with a bit of salt would be cool as well.
Okay, so for my version, I'm going to strip it all back. Let's go basic with this. So let's start with a quick flax egg. Give that a little stir and set it aside. And then I'll use an actually large bowl this time over a bain-marie while I'll put in some butter and some dark chocolate. Also, quick shout out to anyone looking in the reflection of the silver bowl. All the recipes are in the description. Hi there. And now I'm just going to quickly melt this. And when I say quick, I do mean quick because I'm actually going to speed this footage up because it looks quite satisfying. Look at that. Not bad. And once all that's melted, I'm going to dump in my 2 different kinds of sugar, which is substantially less sugar than both recipes, but 50-50 on the colors. And then I'm going to pour in the flax egg that's been sitting there for a few minutes, some vanilla extract, and stir it all together. Now, I tried to do this like cute production shot here, which doesn't actually work out all that well. The idea was to make this all one big long shot by lifting the bowl, taking away the saucepan, then the hot plate as well. And to be honest with you, it's just slow and awkward and took up more time than it's worth. But you know, you gotta experiment, you gotta try things out, especially in these early days. Anyway, once that's out of the way, let's throw in some flour, some cocoa powder, some baking powder, and some salt as well, and just sieve it all in. And now it's time to gently fold it all together. Also, at this stage, if you want to, you can definitely go ahead and add some big fat chocolate chunks. I personally didn't, mainly because I just don't want to copy the Pick Up Limes recipe too much. But you know, you do you. Also, while we're talking about chocolate chips, the chocolate chips from the Happy Pear recipe seem to just completely melt away. Like they vanished. I don't know where they went. Yeah. But now for the piece de la resistance. I'm going to coat the top of this with some peanut butter. In real life, I'd probably do it all in peanut butter, but I'm just going to put half this time so she can taste it without as well. Keep it fair. Then just chuck it in the oven, and if you're wondering, I use the middle shelf. But does that affect the tigress's taste buds? Let's find out.
Okay, so I'm gonna try the. Oof, this is gonna fall down. Um, I'm gonna try the like the best of both worlds brownie now. Um, It looks great. They look really good. I can see that they have some peanut butter on them, which I asked for. So that's really nice. Um, yeah, I'll just taste them. I really like the flavor. It's definitely less sweet. I like the peanut butter. But they are like the texture is a little bit like sticky almost. Um, yeah, so let's Lolly, come here. Lolly, come here. But yeah, the flavor I think I prefer just because they're not as sweet and I like stuff that's like not kind of like super sweet just so I can eat more of them. Because this you can eat like a lot and you're not like overwhelmed. Um, so yeah, I really like that. But yeah, the texture is I think maybe a little bit worse than the brownies from before, like both the brownies from before, because it's like it's still nice, but it's not as like fudgy, I guess. Um, Maybe it's because there's not enough sugar in them. I don't know exactly what happens when you bake stuff. Um, but maybe that's the kind of the what the texture is lacking. But all in all, I like them. I'll just taste one that's like without peanut butter just to kind of have a better comparison, I guess. Um, I do think maybe out of the three, like the best brownie kind of overall would be the Big Up Limes. Yeah, the Big Up Limes I think like were kind of overall the best brownie. They had all of kind of the like a little bit too sweet for me, but all of the other stuff was great. I think Lolly needs a blueberry for being so nice. Okay, while I give Lolly her blueberry that she so desperately wants, um, check out our other videos and subscribe to our channel and like and comment and all the good stuff.